Next question. What is your outlook for VCTs and where are you seeing opportunities? And I'd like to ask that to Stuart.
Sure. Thanks, Annabelle. Well, I'll highlight three areas that I think there are going to be great opportunities for investment. The first one is the circular economy, which includes consumers recycling pre-owned products. It's a very sustainable model. And one of the themes we're seeing is companies improving sustainability and recycling items which people no longer need. We've already had considerable success in this area with Watchfinder, which is an online retailer of pre-owned luxury watches, which we sold a couple of years ago, generating a high multiple of return on our investment. And more recently, we've made investments in MPB, which is a website enabling the buying and selling of used camera equipment, and Luxury Promise, which I referred to before, which does do the same for pre-owned luxury handbags. A second area I'd highlight is maximizing the value of data. The volume of data created and consumed worldwide is estimated to have grown fourfold between 2015 and 2020, and it's expected to continue to grow exponentially. And this is going to create a lot of investment opportunities as businesses try to work out what data they have and then try to analyze and present it in ways which enable them to create value. Some of the companies in our portfolio which take advantage of this trend include Edited, which collects data so it can provide market intelligence to online retailers, Contact Engine, which supports companies with automated interactions with their clients to make them more efficient, and Exonar, a data discovery company. And the third area we think is really interesting at the moment is improving societal outcomes. As I mentioned last year, several of the investments we made last year fall into this category. So those are probably three of the key areas that I would pick on at the moment in terms of areas that we think are interesting to pursue for new investments.
Thanks very much. It sounds really positive, really interesting. I'd like to ask the same question to Warren. What's your outlook and where are you seeing opportunities?
You know, in venture capital, it's important to maintain a healthy sense of optimism. You know, and I think that when you're in this business, you know, the payoffs are very long dated. They take 5 or more years to mature and come to light. You know, the pandemic has put, you know, a variety of things into light, and some of them are positive takeaways. We feel very bright and hopeful that, you know, all the good things are to come. Our strategy is to keep investing thematically into companies that are pioneering in our deep tech space, enterprise, and healthcare. You know, we're working with founders that are focused on the largest propositions that drive significant trend shifts and innovation across industry. It's important to realize that, you know, after any significant market event, like, well, any global event like the pandemic, that there's always technology step change that come after. If you look at the 2008 financial crisis, you saw a variety of fintech boom. You know, a lot of checks and balances, a lot of other financial software that was used to manage risk better, as one example. Well, the pandemic is the biggest opportunities are in the continued growth of the cloud and data, software. You have an interesting statistic right now. The world is swimming in data, bigger than the oceans, and 83% of it is not used, is unoptimized, and is wasted. The pandemic showed us that our disaggregated computing and infrastructure in some core areas that had underinvestment are going to be taking up these technologies with a significant velocity. You know, coming out of this time, it's important to also realize that the nature of work has forever changed. The attitude of going, riding the train every single day, sitting at your desk, going home at 5 o'clock is probably never going to look the same again. So we point ourselves in, what does digitization really look like? What is the future of the worker? You know, one of our key thematics is the future of work. It's clear to me that events will be largely digital. Yet it's going to be difficult to imagine that after more than a year of saving expensive travel and entertainment expense and conference fees, that companies are going to want to go back to full-time in person. There's a variety of themes that are stemming from this time, and you know, we just see a very, very solid opportunity set coming out of this.
Thanks very much. Well, really a digital revolution going on, and I think we're all experiencing that by the way we work and the way we live. I'd like to ask David, what's your outlook for the sector and where are you seeing opportunities?
Yeah, well, I'll start by looking back before looking forward. So if that's all right. Venture capital trusts are 25 years old, so they predated the internet, and the fact that they have therefore changed and moved over time, I think is quite instructive to where they might move next. So over that period of time, they've moved from a traditional investment, and particularly across large swathes of the country where it was high-end manufacturing, which then moved into robotics and AI and morphed into those sectors. And as you heard now, the general themes about investing in growth are following the growth sectors, which is clearly about work-related and data management and all the things that hang off that. So those are the areas which are now looking like the growth trends over the coming areas, both in healthcare markets, media creation, creativity, a whole raft of different places. So the result of that, I think, is that you'll see increased deployment throughout all of the chain. Businesses which have got global opportunities and businesses that have got national opportunities. So you'll still get application software, in particular, helping people to work faster, smarter, quicker, better, which might only have a narrower market opportunity, but there's nothing wrong with creating a business which is only worth 20 or 50 or 100 million pounds. You don't always have to be global. And I think one of the attractions for venture capital trusts as a sector is they can appeal across the range of small businesses, with growth opportunities. You can be a global billion-pound business, or you can be a global multi-million, or you can just be a national multi-million-pound business. So those opportunities still exist. They're just moving different trends. Currently, you've got the waves that you talked about, which are data, the rise of social media and influencing the way that corporate pounds are being spent, the way that people are working and working differently, which I think Warren I'd absolutely agree with. That is therefore, there's a whole variety of tools around that. And then also around the ways in which people communicate. So, we invested in a business where I thought it was a piece of technology that was effectively used to protect mobile phones. It's now called a cybersecurity business. It's now developing cybersecurity wrappers for events like this, which didn't exist. So now you've got to have, how is my Zoom call going to be secure in a different way and form? So it's gone through 3 sort of iterations in the 6 years that we've been invested in it. And that's the sort of change that I think you can expect. So I think the outlook for VCTs, I would say, is they always follow the growth pattern. So that it'll be probably different in 5 years to it is tomorrow, is my guess, which is how it's always been. But I think the big trends and themes that you've seen in terms of where the small businesses are going to follow the growth is where we go as well, which is all of those areas that we've just talked about.
Well, thanks very much, David. I have to say, I feel very encouraged having talked to you all. VCTs investing for growth, investing for change, investing to make the world a better place with their ESG implications. I think it sounds very positive. I'd like to thank all our managers very much for joining us today. It's been great to hear their views on VCTs and where they're finding opportunities. I'd like to emphasise that we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Investment is for the long term, and you need to have a well-balanced portfolio. If you're in any doubt, you should talk to a financial advisor. Thanks so much for watching.